Hi, welcome back to Critical Philosophy. I'm Justin, and this is my sincere attempt to lower temperatures and maybe bring a fresh perspective to the recent ICE-involved shooting in Minnesota of Renee Good. On today's agenda, cooler heads prevail. This is not the place to come for breaking news. I'm not a journalist. I'm a commentator. Enough time has now passed that we do know a few things about that situation. Predictably, opinions follow rigid party lines and ideological structures. Sadly, most folks take a few things that they do know, add what they believe, disregard facts that are inconvenient, and treat it as if they know the whole story to include legal precedent and a degree in the law. Today's date is January 15th. As of right now, there is no trial date set. I imagine there will be a trial, but I can't even be sure of that. The Trump administration, for its part, is already saying, for whatever the value is of the word of a politician, that the shooter will receive full immunity. There is body cam footage that we all insist on interpreting according to our own preconceived notions. As much as I hate to admit it, this is the exact rare situation in which detailed procedural policies would be beneficial. Whether the ICE agents were following the law and proper procedure will be simple to adjudicate, even though there will be attorneys arguing on both sides. Some things that are inarguable due to video evidence include whether the agitator did or should have known that her vehicle was surrounded by ICE agents, whether she was looking through the windshield when she began moving forward, and whether she was violating orders from law enforcement. Now comes my responsibility to explain to the right what I believe is the leftist position in such a way that I think an honest broker from the left wouldn't object to. This is a crucial first step in making sure that you understand exactly where those you disagree are coming from. Elevating discourse means hearing our opponents, which means listening with an intent to understand. We must actually hear what our opponents are saying and meaning. If you can restate in your own way, using your own words, your opponent's position in such a way that they don't find objectionable, you demonstrate not only your own open-mindedness and fair dealing, but also that you have properly heard and understand them. So, with that in mind, please just hear me out. First, Ms. Good was trying to flee. Her intention wasn't to hurt anyone. The turning of her steer tires demonstrates that. The self-defense argument is moot because she was attempting to flee. Second, since her attempt to flee has been established, to the extent that the ICE officer's life was endangered by her attempt to flee, it was he who endangered his own life by choosing to stand his ground, obviously in the path of a moving vehicle. His life wouldn't have been in danger if instead of taking the time to draw his weapon, aim at her face, and firing, he had simply chosen to take a single step to his right, thereby allowing her to escape. He would have been fine. He shot her because he chose to. He opted to shoot her when other non-lethal options were available. He did this because he was angry. Ms. Good had been engaged in her lawful protest for an extended period of time, which drew the ire of a man who would choose for himself a job that allowed him to wield a gun. After being angered, he was looking for an opportunity to use his gun to end Ms. Good's protest permanently. He found that opportunity when she started trying to make her way home to her babies and her life. He couldn't allow that. He wouldn't allow it. This was obviously not a case of professional law enforcement. This is instead a case of impassioned second-degree murder on the part of a controlling masculine man who was pushed beyond his threshold of acceptability by a strong-willed woman because she not only didn't sit quietly, but also boldly championed a political cause to which the ICE agency's hired gunman was personally opposed. Now, everyone on the right would vehemently disagree with that characterization for many reasons. But that isn't the point. The point is that I've demonstrated that I have heard and understand the left's position. Now, I can rebut. Without interrupting or shouting or becoming too impassioned, I can state my case using their words to make my point. People aren't mind readers. Assigning someone else's intent is always fraught with fallibility. What an onlooker can glean about her intent is completely irrelevant. What we need to accurately assess blame or culpability is just to know the sequence of actions. Ms. Good turning her wheels or why she did so doesn't matter. What matters is that she operated her vehicle in such a manner that the ICE agent standing in front of her was encroached upon by the vehicle under her control. As an agent of the government lawfully discharging the duties and responsibilities of its position, that agent quickly taking deadly aim to protect himself and or others and pulling the trigger multiple times was the right, just, and necessary thing to do in the mind of the person who at that moment was the only one of consequence. His. All the obfuscation about his or her state of mind, his or her intentions, or their motivation is completely pointless, useless, worthless. I'm not in the business of making predictions. As dangerous as it may be for credibility's sake, I'll go out on a limb and publicly predict that there most likely won't be a trial in which the officer is the only named defendant. If there is such a trial, he will be acquitted of wrongdoing. I do highly suspect, though, that we will see one level of government sue the other. I expect the state of Minnesota to unsuccessfully sue the federal government. I feel for Renee Good and her family. I don't doubt that she really thought she was acting righteously and with the best of intentions. I also feel for the man who went to work that day and discharged his weapon in the line of duty. I'm also sure that he thought he was acting righteously and with the best of intentions. I choose to believe that neither party were intentional or willing agents of evil. I choose to believe that because I'm tired of always seeing my fellow Americans as evil. Obviously, evil exists, and some people are. But it should take more to meet that standard than simply having opinions or drawing conclusions to which I disagree. I hope this short video was useful in helping you view others in a more charitable light. I'm sure that I'm not the only one who's grown weary of viewing their fellow countrymen so harshly. Remember, please, like, share, and comment if you think there are some aspects of this particular ICE-involved shooting that needs clarified or that I mischaracterized. You can reach out to me directly at info.philoclub@gmail.com. Thank you.